And those were pictures from Jerusalem of the celebration of Easter. And we can't think of a better run-in to our next conversation with Father Stanisław Tasiemski, who's the Vice Chairman of the Catholic News Agency, to discuss the meaning of Easter for Catholics in Poland. Father, thank you very much for joining me.
Oh, welcome. I'm very happy to be with you and all who attend our transmission, our program.
No problem. Well, it's a working day for you, Father. Many people are on holiday, but there must have been large congregations today. They always say large congregations, and very often they get a little bit of a telling off if they haven't been for a while.
Yes, surely. We can say it is a certain tension between two ways of celebrating Easter. Traditionally, Poles celebrated Easter morning, early Mass and procession. And in many villages, in many places, people gathered early in the morning. In our church, we had rather a big congregation on the Easter Vigil, where 8 people were baptized, except 5 people, adult persons, were baptized in our church. So we had a long liturgy, and earlier we had a very also busy time. We may say that comparing with other years, there were many people who ask ourselves to confess. So always the whole week was a very busy one, and we are very happy to serve all those who are willing to be present in the celebrations in different places here. We may see Highlanders way in Zakopane, the way they were praying and also celebrating Easter.
Of course, but the relevance of these events in Israel, just under 2,000 years ago, is it hard to get that message across to young people these days?
We may say it is a certain cultural change of generations, but also we were able to speak with young people, and perhaps in our church we were very happy that they were engaged in a choir, in the liturgy. But surely there is a certain problem of transmitting the faith to the young people who are living, perhaps Pope Francis called it hyper-individualistic culture, where people are closed in their computers, in their virtual world, not in a real world. So it is not an easy way to transmit the faith to young generation nowadays.
But of course, how do you get that message across? What's the key thing that you think is still relevant in these events and in the meaning of the day? How do you get that across to them?
Surely we have many immigrants from Ukraine, and we are a neighboring country to Ukraine, where the war is very harsh, very difficult for people. And perhaps the most important word is that the evil have never ever the last word. The death is not the winning. It is the life which Christ gives to ourselves, the hope of Christ, which is the most important meaning for ourselves to live. And surely we have also the certain tradition, the faith of resurrection, or the tradition of 19th century, where Poland disappeared from the maps of Europe. People believed in resurrection, not only of Christ. Surely there was certain mysticism. Poland as a Christ, what was died on the cross, will rise again. And it was this faith which helped to survive in a very difficult times. Surely, perhaps there is not very expressed this feeling that the danger is not very far away from ourselves. But surely the hope that risen Christ is our Lord helps us to also live in our days in difficult circumstances.
Indeed. Now, seeing the pictures from Rome over the past few days, the Pope was not present at the ceremonies on Good Friday. Is there a lot of concern at the moment about his health and about the leadership, I suppose, of the Church at this specific time?
First, we have to say that Pope Francis is a Pope who is very present as governing the church affairs, all the things. He changed the constitution of the Roman Curia, so it is the Pope who decides personally on many things. But Via Crucis in Colosseo, where he was not present, simply it was a very cold day. And recently, during the last few weeks, he had some problems with his health. He used some aides who read his speeches, for instance, during Wednesday audiences or during even Sunday Angelus. So surely he is 87, but today even it seemed to myself that his voice was a bit signed with a bit of cold, but he's still very brave. He's always very man who knows what to do. And even today, this morning, perhaps, for instance, after the Mass, he greeted all the cardinals, wishing them a very good Easter, happy Easter. So even his speech, where he presented the word affairs, he read all the quite a long speech for perhaps 15 minutes, speaking about problems of peace in the world, but also reminding that the Lord is the Lord of life and appealing to protect human life from the beginning to the end of life, of natural end of life.
Father Stanisław Tasiemski from the Catholic Information Agency, News Agency, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Happy Easter.